Purworejo is a regency in the southern part of Central Java Province in Indonesia. Its capital is Purworejo. History: Ancient Mataram Hindu period. The history of Purworejo is first recorded on Kawura Hiwang inscription on 5 October 901, which is being found in Boro Wetan village. The area was originally known by the name Bagalan, and it has now become a smaller part of the whole Purworejo Regency. In the 9th centuries, Bagalan is part of the history of the ancient Mataram Hindu civilization which was flourished on Kedu Plain. It is estimated that within the period of Rakai Watu Kara Daya Balatung, Bagalan had become the capital of the Mataram Hindu kingdom, that it is the origin of the king, as Watu Kara is a river name in Bagalan. The ancient artifact being found in Bagalan is Kawura Hiwang inscription, which explains Shima ceremony. At that period, when a new land is being opened for economic or religious use, there will be a ceremony being held by the authorities, namely Shima ceremony. The authorities mentioned in the inscription are Sang Ratu Bajra, who is allegedly as Rakrian Mahamantri Mapati Hino Shri Daksotama Bhavha Bajra Pratipaksaya, who is also the brother-in-law of Rakai Watu Kuradaya Balatung and who is also later became Balitung's successor. The ceremony mentions that the land is being freed from any tax duty, but it has the obligation to maintain the holiness of a sacred place called Parahiyangan. The ceremony also purified the area of Kawura Hiwang of any evil's influence. Kawura Hiwang area itself consists of rice fields, savanna, caves and arable land. The cave mentioned in the inscription is identified as Seplawin Cave, where a Shiva gold statue is being found, and therefore the second artifact within Bagalan area. Within this period, Bagalan became a religious center where some Buddhist monks were probably lived along the Bogowanta river banks. Mataram Sultanate period. During this period, the people of Bagalan is famous for becoming the special arms force for Sutawijaya, hence the beginning of its militaristic character, which also said as inheritance of the martial arts skills being instilled by the previous Buddhist monks from the ancient Mataram period. Dutch colonial period. During this period, Bagalan area was notorious of its powerful insurgent which support Prince Diponegoro throughout Java War. Upon the defeat of Diponegoro, Bagalan was being asked from Mataram Sultanate in order to undermine the power of Bagalan's insurgent, and was being integrated into Kedu Residency by the Dutch colonial ruler. The new town, called Purworejo, is being designed by a Dutch architect by adopting traditional Javanese architecture and tradition. The Dutch implemented indirect rule, which is reflected in its town architecture, where the regent is from the local leader and the co-ruler is always a Dutch. This new town was also served as Dutch military base camp, which housed the Dutch Black colonial armed forces from West Africa. Some Dutch residents were born, lived and died in Purworejo. The records can be found in the civil registry of the Dutch East Indies. Some Dutch colonial buildings are still in a good shape until now, as of Regency Official House, a church which still become GPIB Church, Queek School, train station, bank, hospital. During this period, there were two main religious figures, a Muslim preacher Kyi Imam Pura and a Javanese Christian evangelist Kyi Sadrach. This is the evidence that in Purworejo, Muslim and Christians are being accepted harmoniously by its people. Modern Indonesian period. In the modern-day Indonesia, Purworejo produced skilled workforce in the area of government, education and military. The prominent general from Purworejo is Suwo Edi Wibowo, who is also the father-in-law of President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. There are also several other notable general arms forces, government officials, ministers and lecturers as being listed in the notables from Purworejo. Purworejo is recently more well known as the town of retirement, as the economic and government activities of modern Indonesia is centered in Jakarta. Purworejo citizen a majority urge to work in Jakarta or in other parts of Indonesia or even worldwide. However, there is also an urge for Purworejo citizen to repatriate and to build retirement residences in Purworejo, because of its reputation as retirement town in the modern day, its inheritance as a Dutch town and its ancient inheritance of Buddhist religious center. Purworejo is relatively a peaceful town with vast main roads, big old trees on both sides, regular squares of town blocks and its preserved Dutch buildings. The wider area of Purworejo mainly has agriculture and livestock activities, while some medium-sized, export-oriented industrial activities is being established in the southern part of the region. Transportation. Airport. The airport closest to the town is Its International Airport, which is approximately within 1.5 hours driving distance. With the development of new Yogyakarta International Airport near the border of Yogyakarta and Purworejo, it will only take 30 minutes to the airport. Rail. The railway through Purworejo at Kutoryo Station is part of the Southern Java Railway System. The complete schedule can be found at Kutoryo Station Schedules. Some popular schedules: intercity routes Taksaka, Yogyakarta, Kutoryo, Jakarta, Argo Lou, Jakarta, Kutoryo, Solo, Argo Dwi Pangup, Jakarta, Kutoryo, Solo, Argo Wireless, Bandung, Kutoryo, Surabaya, Turanggup Bandung, Kutoryo, Surabaya, Sorunggale Utama, Kutoryo, Jakarta, Lodaya Route, Solo, Kutoryo, Bandung, Kutojaya, Utara, Kutoryo, Jakarta, Bogowanto, Yogyakarta, Kutoryo, Jakarta, Kutojaya Selatan, Kutoryo, Bandung, Gaya Baru Malam Selatan, Jakarta, Kutoryo, Surabaya. Commuter routes: Prambanan Express commuter train which serves 3 cities, Solo, Jogja and Purworejo. Roads: there are several coach provider which serve route from Purworejo to main cities in Java, e.g. Sumber Alam equals Purworejo, Jakarta, Efisiency equals Purwokerto, Yogyakarta through Purworejo. Tourism. Purworejo has not fully marketed as a tourism area, although it has nature attractions including its southwestern range of Menere Hills with its caves, its southern beaches and its northern picturesque scenery of 2 active volcanoes Sumbing and Sundoro, and its mountainous range with its waterfalls to the north and east. Sports and amusement park, sports centers and activities that can be done in Purworejo. Swimming pools and water park. Arthur Titha. News on Arthur Titha. Kedungkebo. View of Kedungkebo swimming pool. Sumber Adventure Center water park. Car-free day. Every Sunday morning between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. the roads surrounding 1 km square town square is being closed from traffic and the town's resident freely walk, run, cycling, playing football, eat, do all sort of relaxing morning activities around the square town sports center or WR Supertmin. Futsal centers. There are 5 futsal halls around the town. For complete info, see Futsal centers in Purworejo. Cycling. Purworejo landscape is ideal for cycling as the terrain varies with easy no-elevation long routes along rice fields, to moderate challenge with some elevation around foothills, and the more difficult uphill routes to Menre Hills at 300 to 800 meters above the sea level. Gallery of Dutch Colonials Purworejo. Gallery of today's Purworejo. Figures from Purworejo. Figures of Indonesian independence. Mr. Wilopo, the 7th Prime Minister of Indonesia. Gen. Urip Soemoharjo, founder of Indonesian National Army. Mr. Kasman Singgordimidho, Attorney General, Junior Minister of Justice in the Second Amir Syarafuddin Cabinet. Wage Rudolf Supratman, the writer of Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. Winoto Dano Asmoro, Presidential House Chief of Staff for IR. Soekarno. Military figures. Gen. Ahmad Yani, Commander of Indonesian Army, one of the heroes of Revolution 1965. LT. Gen. Sawo Edi Wibowo, Commander of RPKAD, the father-in-law of LT. Gen. Dr. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. Gen. Endriatono Sutarto's Commander-in-Chief of ABRI. Marj. Gen. Slamet Kirbiantoro, Commander-in-Chief of Kodamja. Marj. Gen. Imam Edi Mulyono, Force Commander of the United Nations Mission for the Referendum in Western Sahara. High-ranking officials. H.J. Ani Yudhoyono, SIP, First Lady of Indonesia, the wife of LT. Gen. Dr. Susilo B. Yudhoyono, the daughter of LT. Gen. Sawo Edi Wibowo. IR.H. Erman Suparno, Imbar M.C. Minister of Labour in the United Indonesia Cabinet. I. DRSDWI Wahyu Atmaji, MPA, Director of State Apparatus at the Indonesian Agency for National Development Planning. Academia. Researchers. Professor Dr. Hendrik Kern, a professor of linguistics at the Leiden University, an Orientalist. Dr. Areng Titraodojo, one of the earliest Bumiputra lecturer at SDOVIA, a medicine school during Dutch colonial period and also the great-grandfather of Indonesian 3rd President B. J. Habibie. Purworejo Region Public Hospital is named after Dr. Titraodojo. Professor Kunto Wibisono Siswomiharjo, Rector of Sabela's Maret University, an expert of philosophy, the first Doctor of Philosophy at Gadjah Mada University. Professor Dr. R.E.R. Sok. R. Agasatono, M.B.A., Deputy of Education and Religion, Coordinating Ministry of Human and Cultural Development. Dr. Andre J. G.H. Kostemans, Dutch and AMP, Indonesian botanist. Dr. Tafsir Nurchamid Pak, M.C., Vice-Rector II of the University of Indonesia. Dr. Yenti Ganazi, S.H.M.H., an expert of criminal law and special criminal offences at the Trisakti University, a member of KPK Selection Committee. Dr. Suprayantoro Adi, an expert of seismology at the Indonesian Agency for Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysics. Dr. Chris Sunartus, M.C., a cartography expert at the Indonesian Agency for Geospatial Information. Dr. Ing. Andri Widyowijatnoko, M.T.IIA, expert of building architecture at the Bandung Institute of Technology. Dr. Eng. Imam Ahmad Sadison, S.D.M.T., an expert of applied geology at the Bandung Institute of Technology. Corinthias PMC Anapa MSM, MEIA, an expert of appropriate technology and AMP, sustainability science in Japan. Artists. Sportman Jan Turop, Dutch painter. Drs. Bambang Arawan, an industrial designer, a lecturer at the Sepuluh November Institute of Technology. Kitimbul Hadi Prayatno, traditional Indonesian puppet master. Herman A. Veenstra, Dutch water polo athlete. Karel Hying, Dutch football player. Dana Windo, Indonesian football player, head coach of Indonesian national football team. Religious pioneers Syekh Imam Puro, a Muslim cleric. Sunan Geseng, a Muslim cleric. Kyi Sadrach, a Javanese Christian evangelist.